Welcome to the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and click that like button.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us for another edition of the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. This is the Marvelous One, back at it again with Philosophikal and Don for another week of sports talk, recaps, and predictions. Today, we have another guest representing Eagles Nation, E-Dubb. What's good with you, E-Dubb?
Ain't nothing, man. Go birds. Fly, you fly.
I hear you. Hey, look, I'm not trying to take any credit, but I did pick y'all at the beginning of the season going to this NFC Championship game. I kind of felt it all along. This kid, Hurts, has been, doing his thing for the past 2 seasons. So it's only right that he gets this team to the NFC Championship game. Now the Super Bowl, we'll talk more about that. So, so Don, Philosophikal, how y'all feeling, man? You had a restful week?
Yes, we did. We fired our defensive coordinator, which was great.
Okay.
So, we're going to see what's going to happen on defense.
Okay. All right. I know you and I talked about this, maybe getting a defensive coordinator with a different philosophy on defense.
Yeah, they talk about getting I forgot his name, but get somebody in there. Like I said before, man, it's going to take a couple years. You feel like it's a quick fix. I don't think it's a quick fix for the defense. They got a bunch of old contracts, bad contracts, old players in key spots. You can't just hit on the draft on this. So I think it'll take about 2 years to get it right.
Like I told you before, I always find that defense is like the easiest thing to fix. Offense, because the quarterback is the most important position, is difficult to fix. You got to find the right guy. So, like you could look at the Giants. The Giants brought in that defensive coordinator from the Ravens. He brought his philosophy, brought in his people. Next thing you know, that defense is rolling. And look, with Daniel Jones, it took a couple of years, but now he's finally figured it out. But he was stinking it up the first couple of years. So
we'll he stuck it up that last game too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. But he's left the man there either. So, but we're gonna see what happens next year. We're gonna see what happens with Green Bay because it sounds like they're getting ready to trade Aaron Rodgers. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. It's about big changes coming to the division. So
okay, all right. Well, we'll see. Don, you enjoyed your peaceful weekend?
Yeah, it was peaceful, man. I mean, everybody out there window shopping for Lamar, man. I mean, I tell everybody it was open season for our offensive coordinator. I'm glad he did the respectful thing and stepped down. I think that Lamar's going to be playing a key role in picking our offensive coordinator because that's a relationship that should be a match made in heaven. And I think that just to shut the open and shut case as far as how are we going to move forward with Lamar. I think the biggest thing with Lamar is not how much we give him, is how much guaranteed we give him. And whatever we put on the table, it has to be 100% guaranteed. The first guaranteed contract, just for historic purposes, you're looking at Larry Bird that said, hey, listen here, I'm not going to be out there working that hard. I want me a guaranteed contract, not based on incentives, but just based on me just showing up. And I think once we get past that point, I think the Ravens are going to go out there and get him another receiver because the defense is solid. I think we just need maybe another receiver. Likely he's starting to show up as far as the up and coming tight end, so we can still run that double tight end set. And there's just a couple of things that we know that, we got a solid backup quarterback. Huntley's a backup quarterback. He's solid. He made a bonehead mistake. But however, he took him to the edge. And nobody can say anything about him not putting that scare on him outside of that one boneheaded play. Well, 2 boneheaded plays. He threw an interception. But most backup quarterbacks are going to not be as good as the starting quarterback. But I tell everybody, Christmas came early because if Lamar was in that game, we'd be sitting pretty right now because I'm looking at what Cincinnati was given as far as that snow on that ground. But I'll get into that later on as we start to talk about, we do the recap. But I think the Ravens, we're postured to, one, make a big move in the draft as far as getting another solid wide receiver and just building from the point on once we give Lamar that guaranteed contract.
Well, I hear you. But I tell you one thing, I'm definitely window shopping for Lamar. If he doesn't like it in Baltimore, he can always come to New Orleans, yo.
I would too. I would too, because I had a conversation with a gentleman this week about how he made a good point. And we had a back and forth about how Lamar potentially is not a franchise quarterback, right? So that's why the Ravens are not potentially paying him like it, right? We had a conversation as far as like, look at the top 5 quarterbacks right now. They're all pocket passers, right? They're all pocket passers.
Jalen Hurts,
Jalen Hurts. Okay, so let's look at the top 5 quarterbacks right now.
Josh
Mahomes,
Allen.
Josh Allen's not a.
Yes, he is.
He's okay.
He's a runner.
Mahomes.
He's a runner.
He's a Mahomes. Burrow, who's been in two AFC championship games. Mahomes, who's got a Super Bowl MVP and multiple AFC championships. Aaron Rodgers.
But I think you're ignoring the fact that Mahomes runs. Yes, he does.
Not as athletic as Lamar.
He's not as athletic, but he uses his feet a lot.
Not as bulldozer like Josh Allen, right? So I mean, he's running to escape a lot of the pressure, but he's not running around like Lamar. He's not bulldozing like Josh Allen. He's not, right? So look at some of the top 5 again. Look at some of the top 5 quarterbacks.
I think your point. See, you've already proven my point. You just mentioned Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been to the AFC Championship game. Lamar Jackson has won the MVP.
How many AFC Championship games does Lamar have?
I know he got an MVP.
Hey Marvin, let me get this for him. Let me get this.
How many
do this, man?
Mahomes, wait a minute. Mahomes has an MVP too.
Okay, so Marvin, let me get this for him. I got this for you, Marvin.
Okay, I'm just telling you why they're not paying Lamar right now.
But they offered him $31 million guaranteed. There's a little negotiating going on. You're not making sense with your point.
Okay,
they're
so
negotiating the contract.
Who do you think's negotiation pullback? Is it Lamar or the organization?
It's both. Right. And here's why. If Lamar's breaking down and saying, hey, I'm not trying to break you. I'm just want a guaranteed contract. 100%. Whatever you say the contract is, you just give me 100% of what you get. Now, here's the other part that everybody is ignoring. And this is what you got to look at. Who is remaining in the playoffs? The teams, the championship teams, because all 4 teams in the playoffs right now, currently as it stands, are, in my eyes, are championship teams. So you look at the Bengals, 3 top receivers: Chase, Boyd, Higgins. You look at the Chiefs, they got Smith-Shute, they got Hartman, and they got the other receiver. And then you look at the Eagles. The Eagles got Watson, they got Smith, and they got Brown. And then you look at the 49ers, correct. They got Samuel, and they got the double backfield. I mean, and they got Jenkins. They have weapons. You have quarterbacks that have weapons. We, as the Baltimore Ravens, do not have the weapons. You can have a dynamic quarterback as you want, but if you don't have weapons to make the defense play respectable, or on both sides of the field, then you're not going to get it.
So let me hold on.
The statement that he just made that doesn't make any sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Hang on,
okay,
man.
Go ahead.
Is that the Ravens aren't treating him like a franchise quarterback, which I 100% disagree. They've said it over and over again that they want to re-sign him. He is a franchise quarterback. And all reports have said that they're negotiating and wrangling and going back and forth. It's a guaranteed money. Now, part of the problem is that Deshaun Watson got this ridiculous deal. He has broken the quarterback market. And so what's happened is now whatever quarterback that's following him wants $1 more or more than what Deshaun Watson got, which is going to break teams. And that's the problem right here. That it's not that they don't want to pay him. They don't view him as a franchise quarterback. He wants more than Deshaun Watson, which he deserves more than Deshaun Watson.
But Marv, I don't think he really wants more. I think he just wants whatever you offer. I just want 100%, because too many contracts are falsely written because they're incentive-based driven. That was my whole thing, is that whatever you offer, because you got to figure it out. So you got to figure out what you're going to offer and what you're going to do not to break the team. And whatever that number is, it needs to be 100%. No incentives attached to it.
So let me respond to that, right? I'm going to respond to those 2 points, right? You said that all 4 quarterbacks in there, right? There are 3 out of the quarterbacks right now that have weapons, and they have a defense, right? Jalen Hurts, let's talk about Jalen Hurts right now, because Jalen Hurts has had an injury history, right? He came from Alabama. He came from Oklahoma, had an injury history, transferred to Alabama. He was a second-round quarterback. He showed injury at Philadelphia.
What is your problem with running quarterbacks?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't win you Super Bowls. It does not win you Super Bowls.
One is right now in the NFC Championship game.
He's got 2 elite receivers and an elite defense behind him. Lamar doesn't have that. That's the problem. That's the problem with that. The reason why you can't give Lamar all that money. You cannot put those. They're not paying Jalen Hurts. That's why they can have this team around him right now. They're not paying Jalen Hurts. If they were paying Jalen Hurts like they would pay Deshaun Watson, they can't have that team around him.
All right, you're getting a little bit emotional about this. I don't know what's your deal with running quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts has proven it to you now. Lamar has proven it to you. He's won an MVP. They've been successful, and to say that they haven't is just not true.
Marv, so me and you grown up in the city, and we've seen the running quarterback Pop Warner our whole life. So this is not new to us. We didn't see him the Lamar best trophy is when he won the 2-hand touch trophy. You know, so if you can't put 2 hands on him, you're not going to do that. But for some strange reason, Phil thinks that. And look at it. The reason that Mahomes is not as favored, and like I said, I'm not going to go too far ahead, but if you're sitting, I'll go back. Tom Brady, he's sitting in the pocket. They can fire for effect on Tom Brady because they know he has no wheels. You have to be a mobile quarterback to sometimes make up for the dynamic edge rush that's going to come in there.
Okay, so let me clarify my point with Lamar Jackson, right? I don't have a problem with them trying to sign Lamar Jackson. The problem I have is that you cannot give him, let's say they want to give him $35 to $40 million guaranteed money.
What's wrong with that?
Who are they going to bring in to help him bring the weapons around him?
You can do that.
Okay.
Dak is getting paid $35 million.
Is he worth it? Is he worth it?
Yes.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins is getting paid somewhere.
And look where it's
$30 million.
And look where it's gotten him.
It got him a 13-4 record.
13-4
And out
that you're very unappreciative of.
That you are very the only success you see is Super Bowl. You don't see making the playoffs as being successful. You don't see MVPs. You don't see Heisman trophies as being successful for some reason.
But a couple years ago,
you gotta win the
NFC.
The guy been in the league 5 years, and you expect a Super Bowl championship already.
No, I understand. A couple years ago, we had that top 5 defense. We were just in the NFC Championship game a couple years ago without Kirk Cousins.
And did you just have a home game? You just didn't have a playoff game. You had a home game, right?
Exactly, and that's my point. That's my point. Kirk Cousins is not worth the money we're paying him. He's not.
Get rid of him and go through the process of trying to find a franchise quarterback. Good luck.
But you guys disagree with me about that. You guys act like we can't just go out and get a new quarterback. You guys act like
you believe Derek.
Garoppolo, Derek Carr.
You think Derek Carr is great? You think Jameis Winston is great? I think these are terrible quarterbacks, and their win percentages proves it. They're terrible.
Derek, you telling me Garoppolo is not better than Kirk Cousins?
Garoppolo, you talk about injury prone. Have you seen his injury record?
He has a better winning percentage than Kirk.
Have you seen his injury record?
Facts.
Okay.
You talk about injury prone.
Okay, but he has a better winning percentage. They just went to the NFC Championship. They just went to the NFC Championship last year. They almost beat the Rams last year in the NFC Championship.
He's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
Okay. I would take him over Kirk Cousins.
I wouldn't.
I
would take Derek Carr over Kirk Cousins.
You are nuts.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
You are by far the craziest person. Anyway, let's move on. E-Dubb.
What's going on, man?
Not much, man.
Hey, I was about to chime in on a few of those, but I was like, hey, I'll let y'all have it. You know, it sound like brothers, you know, in the backyard arguing. So it sound like family business.
Well, yeah, it's something that's been debated for the longest. Somehow Phil just ignores records and success of like 3 different quarterbacks who have not won since they've been in the league. But he somehow hates the Lamar Jacksons, the Jalen Hurts, the Josh Allens, who have continued to win. And they've only been in the league for a short period of time. Jameis Winston's been in the league 8 seasons and never had a winning. Oh, I'm sorry, he had 1 winning season.
I've never praised Jalen. I've never praised.
You have praised him. You thought he was great. And I told you that before this season started. I said, no way in hell the Saints going to 12 him. And as much as I throw out facts, the more he ignores it. and he just Derek Carr. Derek Carr had one playoff season with the Raiders. One.
Yeah, and broke his ankle. That was it.
And yeah, he broke his ankle. But anyway, I digress. E-Dubb, man, how'd you feel about that game against the Giants?
Yeah, I felt good about that game, because there was a lot of talk out there that, you can't beat a team 3 times, right? There was, you can't go in there, you can't beat a team 3 times, but they was trying to paint that narrative, But to be honest, I mean, history has showed, like, you beat a team twice, you're gonna beat them that 3rd time. And not only did we beat them, and it was a divisional rival, but we stopped them. We went and ran the ball down their throat. We had more yards running than they had for the game. I mean, Jalen Hurts went out there, showed that he was back. The shoulder was feeling a little bit better. Lane Johnson came out there, did his thing, and we just ran the ball down their throat and did what we had to do. So I felt real good about it. It gave me a little bit more confidence, from what I already had.
I understand that. I must admit, I was one of those people that was saying, man, it's going to be tough playing a team for the 3rd time. It's like you're in the same division, you know each other. There's no more surprises. But the Eagles just came out and just beat the Giants down. And I mean, it was from, just the first half they put it on.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I was impressed. And I think having Jalen Hurts opens up your running game. I mean, you had 2 backs over 90 yards rushing in this game. And like I tell people is that you have that quarterback and you're doing that read option play, you force that defensive end to stay so he can't crash down on those running backs. And that's how you get those running backs, gouging up those yards like that. So
yeah, 100%. I mean, and not to cut you off, but I mean, you saw the difference when Gardner was in there. You know what I mean? Like the teams didn't even acknowledge that.
Yep.
That he was even going to be a factor to run.
Yep.
So that crippled Miles, that crippled Gainwell, that crippled Boston.
Yep.
And then it didn't even open up on the outside for AJ and Devontae to get off. So and plus Dallas went there at the time, Goddard went there. So it was just totally different. I mean, you gotta have an eye or a spy on Jalen. It's 11-on-11 football at that point.
Yep. And I must say I did see it firsthand, with the Saints beating the Eagles.
All right. I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah, no, I was super excited to see that Jalen Hurts wasn't going to play in that game. I was like, oh, yeah, we should be able to get this win.
Man, and that was a big letdown too, man. After what we did, what I'm saying, in that Dallas game, man, keeping it close. I was like, all right, Gardner gonna do his thing. That boy went out there, turned to a pumpkin, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know there was some Saints fans wanting him to come in, and I was like, come on, man. Can we just stop with these, terrible quarterbacks and trying to pump them up? This guy, he had his opportunity with the Jaguars. He couldn't do anything there. So they've been trying to talk him up for the longest. Anyway, man, looking ahead, I mean, what do you think the Eagles can do to take advantage of whatever the 49ers are doing? What do you guys have the advantage?
Honestly, we have the advantage. I do believe, on the defensive side of the ball, to be honest. I mean, we lead the league in sacks. Our secondary is nice. We appreciate Gardner Johnson. We really appreciate him coming on over from the Saints. But I mean, at the end of the day, we got 2 lockdown corners. I was thinking, it might have been a little weakness with Avonte Maddox going out, but Gardner Johnson filling that void, and Blankenship, he's kind of stepping up, and Epps is back there. But with our defensive line in that secondary, man, I think we're gonna cause Purdy some fits, to be honest with you. One thing that kind of concerns me though is our tight end coverage. I don't know what Kittle's really gonna do, and that's where I'm a little nervous, with Kittle and our linebackers in that coverage and our safeties in that coverage.
Yeah, if I were you, I'd be a little nervous about that 49ers defense.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, they're tough. I mean, Warner, them boys, Bosa coming off the end, they're tough. But again, I think that RPO is going to cause them fits, and it's going to cause them to be honest.
Yeah.
Bosa, I don't think he's going to be able to crack down as much as he wants to. Fred Warner's going to have to spy. You know what I'm saying? And he jumps Jalen. All right, you got Miles, right? So again, it just really depends, man. And Kelsey up front, man, at the center position, man, you gonna have to make them calls and make them adjustments, man. So, again, I am a little nervous about that defense, but again, I think we got them. I think we're gonna be all right.
No, you bring up an excellent point, about keeping them honest. So if you guys can do that, you should be able to take them apart. So with that said, I mean, what do you think are the Eagles' strengths and weaknesses?
So again, strengths, O-line, D-line. I mean, that's been talked about the whole year. O-line, D-line. Again, that covering a slot, I would say that's a weakness. Covering that slot receiver. I mean, we seen what CeeDee Lamb did against us. We've seen what a couple other slot receivers done against us. But some have been saying it's the run. I think we'll be okay. Davis is back. Sue, them guys, them vets. I think they're gonna step up and do what needs to be done. One other concern I do really have is how is our D coordinator going to call the defense? Because a lot of times, man, he'll sit back and let these jokers just go 10 for 10 playing that soft zone. You know what I'm saying? So again, he let Purdy get out there, get that confidence, man, getting them little easy completions, them little dunks here and there, and flinging it out to the flat to McCaffrey. That's going to cause us problems, and that's what's going to hurt us, So that's where I think a weakness could be, depending on how Gannon's going to call the game. That could be a weakness.
Yeah, he better keep his eye out on Deebo Samuel too, because you have no idea where he's going to be lined up, man. He might be in the backfield.
Yeah, 100%. We just got to sit back and look for some of the tells, look for some of the signs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, try to expose Purdy. You know what I'm saying? See if we can kind of get him flushed and see what tells he gives. So that way, if they got Deebo in the backfield, right? Okay, is it going to be a run? Or are they going to do a jet sweep? If they got Deebo and McCaffrey in the backfield, okay, what are we going to do? TJ Edwards got to step up. Kazir White got to step up. Hassan, you know what I'm saying? And he got to play a little discipline. Every time he may not be able to rush. He might have to drop back into the flat in the coverage. Right. So, yeah, that's what I see, man.
Okay. So with that said, what happens? What's going to happen on when's the game? Saturday, Sunday? What happens?
Sunday 3:00. Sunday 3:00. We coming out there with the dub, definitely.
I love it. Yeah. Hey,
we coming out with the dub, man. I mean, I can't say anything less. I think it's gonna be a hard fought battle, though. It's gonna be a slugfest. I mean, you got two of the top defenses, stat for stat, up and down. I mean, each one of them, we're both in the top 3 and everything. Stopping the run, stopping the pass, sacks, turnover differential, the whole 9 yards, right? We're there neck and neck. And ultimately it's going to come down to the quarterback play. And we have the better quarterback.
I agree with you. So we're looking forward to this Eagles Super Bowl.
Oh, indeed. Indeed. Hey, and my man Philasophikal said you said y'all was in the NFC Championship, right? Who'd y'all play?
We played the Eagles.
Yeah.
We played the Eagles. But Kirk Cousins wasn't there. We lost 38-7. We lost 38-7. I remember. I remember. It wasn't Kirk Cousins. And then the game before, Case Keenum. And then the game before, Stephon Diggs had to save us with that miracle catch.
Exactly.
So again, Kirk Cousins wouldn't have did that.
But I was getting ready to say they shouldn't have been there.
Okay, you're right. You're right. And who did we beat? Ask me, Dub. Who did we beat?
Know. Yeah, y'all beat us off the what was the Minneapolis Miracle, whatever corny name y'all came up with.
And I remember I spoke to you. You hate Marcus Williams.
No, I don't hate Marcus Williams. I wish we'd have kept him. No. Honestly,
thank you in advance.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at him. That was his rookie year.
Yep.
And he made a bonehead play. He's a converted receiver to safety. So I wasn't mad at him. Mm-hmm. I was mad at the defensive coordinator for not calling a prevent defense.
That's what everybody said.
Right.
Why would you call that with 6 seconds left in the game?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
should have been open the umbrella up.
I actually thought, man, I had said that year, maybe with the Super Bowl, I didn't care how much tickets were. I was going. But so I didn't get tickets. So
so let's get back to the Eagles. I mean, is Hurts 100% because I mean he has to do a lot to make this team work. It's not like this team is functioning without him. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so Hurts, I say probably 95%. And to be honest, I think he don't have to do a whole lot. I just think his presence on the field does enough.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just look at last game. He didn't even throw for 200 yards, but just his presence being out there does enough. I mean, does he need to have MVP numbers per se? No, he just needs to go out there and play like he is the MVP.
Mm.
You know, that's my thoughts, right? It's just the presence. I mean, it just changes the whole dynamic. Again, you have to respect that man. You
Yep.
have to respect what he does. Period.
Yep. Like you said,
What
with
are
RPOs,
your, oh,
that opens it up for the run game.
Yeah, 100%.
what is your thoughts on AJ Brown saying he wants the ball more? You know, he's not going to become a diva and things like that.
Oh, I respect that, man. That's just like Keyshawn, give me the damn ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a top-notch receiver, man, I mean, why would you not want it? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
in clutch. But again, I just think that's the media putting things out there to try to cause a little bit of turmoil and dysfunction in the locker room. And as long with those veteran guys, Fletcher Cox, they're going Kelsey, them guys, man, they're gonna squash all of that. And again, I believe what he said when he said, man, that's not who I am, that's not who I'll ever be, so on and so forth. And I could believe it, because if he was a diva, things of that nature, he probably would have stayed in Tennessee.
Yeah, true.
Hey, so you know me. We've been nice to our guests long enough. We act as if the 49ers, you know, are not the most dominating team that's coming into the playoffs, because I'm gonna address some things and I'm gonna give you a chance to rebuttal. So bear with me. So right now I'm tracking that, you know, Philly limped into the playoffs. You know, they didn't come in there. I mean, they took a thrashing from the Cowboys, top-notch defense. 49ers got on them and they barely escaped, you know, the Giants. Now, then we're going to start talking. Let's talk about coach advantage. Coach advantage. We're looking at the 49ers. The last 4 years, they've been in 3 of the NFC championships. So this is familiar turf for them. So they're not, you know, even though it's a new quarterback, but they're used to this type of environment. And then also, I'm looking at matchups. So if I'm looking at, you know, you have dynamic weapons, but let's not ignore the fact that the 49ers have dynamic weapons, but they have dynamic weapons that are positionless, which means that they can come and give you multiple looks from multiple sets. You're looking at C-Mac, you're looking at Kittles, Debo's, and also Mitchell, who's the third string. So that's a lot of weapons that they're going to pushing down you. And bear with me, and let's talk about that defense. As if the 49ers don't have a top-notch defense. We looking at Bosey, who's to me the defensive player of the year, and also you're looking at Fred Winers. You're looking at that dynamic linebacker duel that can actually rush and cover seamlessly across the battlefield. And then all of a sudden the 49ers, you're looking at a top-notch defense that's been allowing 16 points, just not across the playoffs, but we're talking about regular season. And I got it, Philly, most sacks. But some of those, I mean, we're looking at. Let's look at your record. I mean, you had a cupcake schedule. You know, if this was college, hold on, I'm gonna give you time to rebuttal. You know, I hope you're writing this down. If this was college football, your strength of schedule is not that hot. You know, we're looking at Lions, we're looking at Jaguars, you're looking at Cardinals, we're looking at the Steelers, Titans, the Colts. The Saints got at them, so we can't say nothing about them.
Yeah, they got a good defense.
Yeah, the Titans, and then also they get the Bears, and you lost to the Cowboys, but you know, Giants, you know, they're playing in your own conference. So these are a lot of tangibles, and also from an offensive line set, I think the 49ers have a much solid offensive line, and they got Trent Williams, who's the number 1, you know, tackle in the NFL. And like I said before, to me, and you can debate this, Dallas is a better team in the NFC due to the fact that they played the 49ers tough because of their history with Dan Quinn's and them being offensive minded and having Kyle being the offense coordinator. So they had a lot of insiders trait. I think you're going to have to come, and if you don't punch them in the face and knock them out in the first quarter, I don't think you'll get it done. I'll pause for remarks.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what?
Wow.
Is he supposed to respond to that?
Wow.
Man,
It sounds like wow.
You signed your contract with ESPN already. You sound like you're one of the cats from ESPN right now.
Wow.
I mean, they paying you. Man, I don't even know where to begin. So first off, with the Dallas piece, so they're supposed to be a better team because they just recently played them. We haven't played them yet. Okay, so we can't say that Dallas is a better team than the Eagles because they ran tough with them. I mean, that's just a ridiculous statement to me. I mean, we haven't played them yet. We played them this weekend. Okay. Two, you're talking about the San Francisco defense can get after them and cover. Did you not just hear what I said early in the show when I said the daggone Eagles, we rush, we get to the quarterback, and we can lock down any corners. We have the best secondary in the league. I mean, I don't know if you missed that. We can go back in the show later on and rewind it and go back over it again. What other stuff you was rambling about, man? Because I was getting flustered for a second, but
Wow.
I mean, just some of the things like the multi weapons, things of that nature. Some people that are positionless. I mean, Miles Sanders could easily go out there and play wide receiver. You know what I'm saying, in a slot if need be. But the thing is, we don't need him to. We don't need him to. Okay. And then on top of that, I mean, we can beat a team either way it goes. So, and we've done it all year, regardless of who we play. We don't get to pick who's on our schedule. We don't set that stuff up. We just go out there and beat the brakes off people. All right. So with that being said, hey, if they need us to pass the ball, Jalen can pass it from the pocket. He's done it this season because they just thought, okay, we're gonna make him beat us with his arm. He's done it. Check that box. Okay, well, shoot. Hey, we're gonna lock down the wide receivers. We're gonna make Jalen run. Check that box. All right. And then the defense steps up. I mean, what else is there to be said? I just don't understand the disrespect that the media gives to the Eagles. It's always moving of the goalposts when it comes to the Eagles. You know, I just don't get it.
You don't think you're a little concerned outside of Jalen running the running game in general with Miles Sanders back there? I can't even name your second running back. Gainwell. Yeah. You're not a little concerned about that? You're not a little concerned about that?
What do you mean as far as the concerns?
I mean, the 49ers defensive line, they stopped.
Not giving. And that sounds good. And every year that they have somebody that says, hey, they're the best against the run, what do? We go out there and rush for 100 yards. Every time. Last year it was the Saints. We rushed for 100 yards. We had 200-yard rushes. I mean,
Jalen Hurts has about 85 of those yards. Out of 100 yards, Jalen Hurts has about 85, and the other running backs have about 15. I mean, that's a ballpark range, but my point is that what happens if the 49ers take the running game from Jalen Hurts away? You right? I guess that's the main concern I would have.
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
I'm not signed to ESPN or anything. I'm just this is just an observation. I'm observing, you know what I mean? I do think the running game is a little bit of an issue if you guys aren't running with Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean?
But again, he has proved it. I mean, he can win with his arm. So we don't necessarily have to have that run game there. So let's say, for instance, hey, they do shut it down. Again, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Watkins, Dallas Goedert. So, you know what I'm saying? We have weapons out there. We have the same type of weapons that San Francisco has, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, just as dynamic. I mean, Dallas Goedert may not, he's probably a top 3, top 4 tight end in the league. AJ Brown, top 1, top 2, top 3 receiver. Devontae Smith, top 1, top 7 wide receiver. So we're there. You know, I mean, we're good across the board.
Well, I'll tell you this, E-Dubb. I was impressed with Jalen Hurts' passing abilities this year. He completed 66% of his passes this year, threw for 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So that's pretty good. I mean, to go along with the running game and his presence on the field to help the running game, he made some major improvements in the passing game.
Yes,
because I think it was last year where he struggled on the deep ball last year, and it seems that he has improved that this year.
Yes,
good point.
Yeah, he has definitely improved in that area, 100%. And again, it's just a testament to the work that he put in that offseason.
Yep.
You know, with that second year being in the offense as well, you know, I think it just paid dividends. You know, and the sky's the limit for that guy, man.
So with that said, is he the MVP?
Yes, he's the MVP. I mean, if
what else did I expect from you, right?
You also come on here and say no. No. Yeah, but 100%. I mean, if we're talking about, you know, the most valuable player to their team, And I know that that's not how everybody looks at it, right? They're looking at the person that puts up the most numbers, the most yards, X, Y, and Z. But if we're really talking about who is the most valuable player to the Eagles, I mean, it showed, right? When he wasn't in them 2 games. We didn't even really look like the same team. You know,
I think that kind of hurt him. That hurt his chances. That hurt his chances. Honestly.
Yeah, it did. And as much as I don't agree with it, I'm just like, still, we're talking about body of work. You know, I mean, 2 games out, but still, if we talk about that last game where he bounced back a little bit, got us that over the hump, got us that, that first round bye. Granted, it was his third stringers, but hey, we didn't tell the Giants to play the third string.
From the team perspective, they couldn't risk a damaging injury going into the playoffs. So I mean, 100%. That's understandable. I know you guys may not agree with it, but it's understandable.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I mean, if we would have came in as the number 2 seed and have a healthy Jalen, I would have been fine with that as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it was smart to rest him, but I mean, I think this MVP race, at least from what I heard, is between Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Jefferson.
I'd be surprised to give it to Jefferson. I would be very surprised to give it to Jefferson.
I thought they threw Joe Burrow in there.
I hadn't heard Joe Burrow.
I didn't know.
I didn't hear him either. But okay. Jefferson, like I told you before, he has no chance because this is a quarterback award. So,
right.
So it'll be between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. And then one of the things you got to consider when you talk about Jalen Hurts, not just his passing yards, you got to include his rushing yards, like 760 rushing yards along with his 3,700 passing yards. Yeah. But Patrick Mahomes has 5,200 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So a lot to consider there. And
I mean, they use them differently, two different offenses, utilized different again,
and Jalen Hurts has better weapons than Mahomes.
I wouldn't necessarily.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
He does. He's got 2 elite wide receivers over there. Mahomes doesn't have, he's got 1 elite tight end.
That's it. I mean, you can't say what's the boy name that came from the Saints, Smith-Schuster. Yeah,
Steelers.
Say Smith-Schuster.
Steelers.
I'm sorry,
top-notch receiver.
As
well as yes.
Is he better than AJ Brown or Devontae Smith?
Maybe the weapons with the Eagles are better than the Chiefs' weapons, but the Chiefs have the best offensive coordinator.
That's a fact.
That's true. Okay.
I don't think there's any argument with that.
No, Bieniemy's tough.
Yeah.
Bieniemy's tough.
And he's got Andy Reid behind.
Let's move on to our recap of these playoff games from Saturday and Sunday. All right. So, first game was the Saturday 4:30 game. We had the Chiefs at home against the Jags. The Chiefs were 8.5-point favorites. I don't know if you guys saw this game. There was a point in the game where Patrick Mahomes got hurt.
Yeah.
And apparently he's got a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I texted Marvin. I was like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So I don't know how it's going to play out for the AFC Championship game. But in this game, I was a little concerned for him because the Jags started to mount a comeback. Yeah. So, good game.
One of the things that I'm concerned about the Chiefs is, for as much offensive explosiveness that they have out of the remaining teams, they have the worst defense. And I think that, it was kind of a fair balance because, their offense can play they can turn a game to a 7-on-7 drill. But I think that right now, moving forward, with Mahomes being hurt, I think they're going to have to slow the game down, which means that they're going to be doing a lot of short passes, getting the ball out of his hands, which is not their game plan. The game plan for them is normally to stretch the field or take what the defense gives them. And I think that in order to save Mahomes, short passes in the running game, and I think they're going to have to shorten the game. That's how they got to the Jaguars, is that they were able to have ball control. And Mahomes is, and I'm not sure how much health he still has in those wheels.
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty limited in his game, because like I said, part of his game is his ability to move around back there, and he couldn't do that. So we'll see how that shapes out. But looking back on our picks on this, we all went with the Chiefs. And I don't know, for some reason I thought Phil went with the Jags. I mean, I know that was your team
now,
all
let me
season
clarify
long.
that. I called you. I was like, man, I considered going with the Jags, but I kept my
That's
pick.
right. You stuck with the Chiefs, yeah.
I stuck with the Chiefs, yeah.
Yeah, hey man, I know that was your bold pick all season long, the Jags, but yeah, you know they were going up against a monster.
When I saw Mahomes go down, I was like,
yeah,
well, upset.
The old man Chad Henne came in there, and got the Chiefs a touchdown. That was impressive.
Which alludes to the weapons that they have on that team, is that they can still move the ball.
Yeah. Well, I think also the one thing that kind of goes unnoticed is the run game and the variety of ways that they get the ball to their running backs. That really opens things up. And I mean, of course, they got Travis Kelce at tight end. So, hey. All right. So, yeah, we all went with the Chiefs. We all got the dub there. Next, we had the Eagles at home against the Giants. The Eagles were 7.5-point home favorites. Don and I went with the Eagles. Phil,
I know,
with the Giants. Hey, E-Dubb, I don't know what he was thinking there, man.
I thought the Eagles were going to lay an egg. I thought Jalen Hurts was, that week off they were going to be off a stride. So I thought Giants was going to, continue their streak from the week before, but it didn't happen.
Phil, this was no contest. This was 28.
It was no contest. Yeah. I had to go back. I was like, man, did I pick the Giants?
Yeah.
But I talked about it early in the game.
Yeah.
I said if the Philly goes out there, punch him in the mouth early.
Yep.
The design of the Giants is to do ball control. They're not designed to play that 7-on-7. That quarterback he's not that guy that's going to do a 7-on-7, and they don't even have a 7-on-7 weapons not to match the Philly defense. And playing from behind, you take one of your biggest weapons, which is Barkley, out of play unless you're going to start moving them around and running wheel routes or running quick slants, which is not how their offense is designed.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to happen. Ball control. It didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, I knew Philadelphia was going to jump on them early. I knew they were going to jump on them early, but I thought the Giants were going to mount a comeback. And I mean, they couldn't even do that.
I thought the Giants were going to fight. Like, it was going to be around 17-10. Yeah. Eagles would have to, come out of fourth quarter, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, because usually when a team picks a big lead early on, they relax in the second half and allow the team to come back, and that's what I was kind of expecting, but didn't happen.
Eagles kept their foot on the gas.
Yes, they did.
But it's not so much as the foot on the gas. I don't think that the offense gave the defense a chance to rest. I mean, solid defenses respond well when they can have the chance to recover, and then they can come back and they say, okay, they didn't have ball control and we're playing the chess game and we're playing position with the field. I don't even think the Giants were in a game where as though they can play chess as far as field position, because they were always 3 and out and things of that nature. And you can't do that with a dynamic offense that the Eagles possess.
Okay.
Well, Dayball also went for it on fourth down at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think. I mean, come on, man. You can't do that. Not in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like not being down 21-0 or 14-0 at the time.
Right.
I think he had to. I think he had to in those situations to bring a little momentum to his offense. I think he had to. He didn't have any choices because he knew he couldn't come back. You put the ball away, you give the ball right back to him. Next thing you know, 35, 42. Who knows what happened. But
then you put a tired defense in a bad position. So I mean that those type of decisions, if you don't win that chess move, you actually put yourself in the worst position that you already in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So E-Dubb, you know this division better than we do. What happens with Daniel Jones? Do the Giants bring him back next year, or do they let him go?
Honestly, I think they do. I think that we kind of set the blueprint for giving a quarterback a second chance in a new system. So giving them a second chance in that new system, I think they'll bring him back. Maybe a little bit under market value. I think they'll probably pay Saquon and then maybe go out there and get a D-Hop at wide receiver or something to that effect.
All right. So we're going to the Sunday games. We had the Bills at home against the Bengals. Don and I went with the Bills. we thought Hamlin was going to give a boost to the Bills against the Bengals, and Phil went with the Bengals.
Okay. Hey, here's my rebuttal to that. Hey, Phil, you're laughing. Hey, Phil, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That was a shot in the dark. And let me go ahead and elaborate on that. Let me go ahead and elaborate. Your shots in the dark.
Oh, what shot in the dark?
Okay, I'm gonna break it down for you. That offensive line right now is depleted, and the weather helped them because those young linemen, the only thing they had to do was one thing: run block. And the Bengals ran the ball down their throats, and they ran it effectively. I'm telling you this because they had ball control and they ran the ball down their throats. Now let's see how they play against a team, because I still don't believe that they can protect their quarterback.
Let me respond to that, right? What have we been saying about the Bills all season, right? The main issue with them is the second receiver. Do we really believe in Gabriel Davis? And they have not been able to run the ball all season at all. They've been, and it's been saying like Josh Allen. They're running the ball way too much with Josh Allen. He got hurt. That's been their MO all season.
So you proved my point.
They can't run the ball.
But you proved my point. The weather helped dictate the pace of the game. It was nasty, and they ran a nasty game.
Well, one thing I'm give Phil credit on this. He's been calling for the Bengals that second half of the season all season long. I'm not surprised that he went with the Bengals. And two, I think he's right. The fact that the Bills, you're right too. The weather played a part in this because the Bills relied too heavily on their passing game. And they don't have a run game. And this was a game where you needed to run the ball. And they couldn't. And the Bengals, that offensive line came of age. That offensive line for the Bengals came of age. And they pounded the Bills.
I wouldn't say they came of age. They only had to do one thing. They didn't have to pass block. They only had to run block. So you only had to remember one side of the
But Burrow looked good back there passing the ball.
But did you see action? Did you see some of the game plans they were playing? They were throwing the ball down the sideline in the snow to Stephon Diggs. What kind of game plan is that, Don?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real, right? Let's be the voice of reason.
But
it was a bad game plan. You can just call it the snow.
Well, Phil, I think the fact is that was their only game plan. It's been a game plan all season long. They couldn't do anything else. So I agree with you. The Bills all season long rely heavily on Josh Allen throwing the ball down the field, and now you're in the snow, windy weather, and you're still trying to do the same thing. And it's like, come on, Bills, run the damn ball.
Yeah.
I'm liking the chances of the Bengals up against the Chiefs, considering that Patrick Mahomes is hurt with a high ankle sprain. It takes more than a week for a high ankle sprain to heal. So we'll see. All right, so let's look at the next one, the Sunday night game. The 49ers, E-Dubb's next opponent, at home against the Cowboys. 49ers are 3.5-point home favorites. Yeah, we all went with the 49ers. We all felt that the Cowboys had no chance, a snowball's chance in hell of winning this game. And it was a close game, but we knew the Cowboys were going to lose it.
Well, do you think that Tony Pollard hit was a dirty hit? Dirty play?
Well, you know what? I didn't see it. What do you think?
I mean, from the way it happened, it didn't look like a dirty hit, but when they kept replaying it, I was like, it could have been.
That's slow motion.
Yeah. What do you think, Don?
I think it was borderline, but I think it was a reaction play. I think real time, real football, nobody makes a hard. I mean, and the rules are changing so vividly that we are looking at old traditional football as dirty hits, whereas though, the defense has to make a split decision. And within that split decision, sometimes, the hit looks dirty, but it's all reactionary. So I don't think nobody's out there trying to end anybody's career. So no, I don't think I think it was within the rule set, it was borderline, but from a football perspective, I think it was good play.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. I didn't see that, but I did see Pollard was out of the game. And once I saw that, I knew the Cowboys' chances were even slimmer.
The offense stopped moving.
Yeah.
Zeke is not designed to own the offense. And there we go. Once again, we're talking about people getting their money, and now is Pollard going to get his money? Because to me, he dominated that offense all year long, even from a backup quarterback coming in there. He provided the Cowboys with the stability they needed in order to make that game. And I still argue that if Pollard didn't get hurt, the Cowboys with Dak throwing those interceptions had a better fighting chance.
But I do think Pollard's a little cheaper than Zeke. They'll sign Pollard to a cheaper deal than Zeke.
Well, looking at this Cowboys game, the thing that made me laugh was the fact that Brett Maher missed his sixth straight extra point. That was unbelievable. I didn't realize before the Tampa game where he missed 4 straight. Dell told me he had missed an extra point the week before that.
Oh, wow. And they kept him too.
Yeah.
Hey, he must be making some money in Las Vegas off of this, because I don't believe that he is that much of a mental block.
Right.
Because he's kicking from distance with ease.
Yeah.
An extra point. It's just unbelievable that he missed 6 straight extra points.
So do you think it's a chemistry between, those the touch points? You're looking at the snapper, you're looking at the holder. Do you think it's a chemistry issue?
I don't know. I think it's like a golfer. It's all mental, and he just, I don't know, either he was point shaving or he had a mental block. And I want to believe he had a mental block.
Or it could be technique. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean,
that's why I was looking at the chemistry, because it's all in, it's a rhythm thing too.
Yeah, the laces looked out to me. I don't know.
So well, what do you guys think about Dak? Should they get rid of him, trade him, keep him? What do you
franchise quarterback? And let's stop being an idiot about this. Dak got him this far. And Jerry, and please, let's understand this, and I argue this all the way through the point. The only reason that the Cowboys, the only thing that Jerry can be really upset about is that those games that they're playing are not home games, because Jerry wants to put hot butts in seats. He got one of the biggest and most dynamic stadium out there, and he believes that Dak can fill that stadium. And that's not, and nobody's gonna come there. Don't get me wrong. They got a dynamic person on defense, but nobody's coming to see him. They're coming to see Dak.
I completely disagree where you said Dak carried both them there, right? They had a top 5 defense, running the ball. He led the league in interceptions, right? So a lot of that defense carried them. Like Marco Parsons was all over the field making plays for them. So I don't think Dak got them there. Right. I don't agree with you saying, he got him there. I think that defense played a part, top 5 defense, running the game, running the ball. He led the league in interceptions.
I don't know if the Cowboys had a top 5 defense. They were probably number 1 in sacks, but I don't know if they were top 5 in yards. They were giving up a lot of yards and points. I think you got to give credit to Dak. They went to the playoffs, and when he wasn't there, they struggled. Now, do they want to go back into the market? Like I tell you, do you want to go back out there trying to find your franchise quarterback and go back to the Quincy Carter days when you're looking for your quarterback?
Did they struggle with Cooper Rush?
Yes.
They did? They did?
They lost to the Eagles?
So here we go. Talking about Cooper Rush, Tyler Huntley. Hey man,
Gordon Minshew.
Hey, let's not talk about what our ex-girlfriend can do for us, okay?
Oh man.
Your ex-girlfriend.
Look at Brock Purdy. Okay, what about Brock Purdy? Look at what he's doing. Third string quarterback. Come on now, Don. Don. Third string quarterback.
You think he's better than Jimmy G?
I haven't seen enough from Brock Purdy.
So
how you go from praising the man? I ain't seen enough.
Marv, you bring up a good point. But
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
You bring up a good point, but I think the way that the 49ers are designed, they're designed to not make him win the game.
Exactly.
You don't lose the game. And that's why I told E-Dubb, I said in the beginning, Hurts has to be the dynamic player when it comes down to this game. He has to put up MVP numbers. This game, if Hurts does not have a big game, it will show in the points, and it may show in the win-loss column as well.
And we've seen the Eagles without Hurts. We've seen them with Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen them with Gardner Minshew. It ain't pretty. So
Nope.
It is
Not at
sad,
all.
and it is shameful to think that they didn't want Hurts.
right. They didn't want him.
A lot of the
it
fan base
irritates
didn't.
me to no end, like they did Lamar, asking the kid about being a wide receiver. Were you going to run the 40-yard dash? And they asked Hurst, are you going to play running back? What? Why would you make this kid a running back? A Heisman Trophy winner, a national championship.
Hey, Marv.
Yeah, that's
So-
the
so-
dumbest
yeah.
thing.
So, Marv, hey, so let's ask E-Dubb a question, because I'm looking at owners who don't strike when the iron is hot. Because because I'm looking at the Ravens, not to take saying that the Ravens are the highlight, but I'm looking at how history. If Ozzie Newsome was there, he would have signed Lamar a year ago, which would have been a non-factor. Now looking at what you have in Hurts, do you lock him up at the end of the season?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I hate this. I was going to say,
I believe
E-Dubb,
it's
I
gonna
hate to say it, his price tag has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
is that? So what is that
Yeah.
number?
That's a good question.
40 million.
Yeah. I think he's about right there. To be honest with you. Yeah, I don't think.
Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown's locked in. Devontae Smith be the next one. Hassan Reddick's already locked in. We could bring back Bradbury because Bradbury's on a 1-year deal. Kazir White's on a 1-year deal. Dallas Goedert already got paid last season. The line got paid last season. So yeah, Slay's already good. So yeah, we got room. We got room to pay him.
And they've drafted pretty well to replace some players. Yeah.
Yep. Because again, you got to think we cut Fletcher where we released Fletcher, then brought him back to restructure that contract early in the season.
Okay.
So we restructured his contract already. So like I said, I think we were setting up for this just in case he did pop the way he did. You know what I mean? So we had the draft capital just in case he didn't, and then we restructured just in case he did. You know what I'm saying? So we was playing both sides of the fence.
Who would you get the draft capital from?
Oh man, he asking rhetorical questions. Get out of here, man. Go ahead on, E-Dubb. What are you saying, man? Go ahead on.
I wasn't taking no shots at you, man. I wasn't taking no shots.
I mean, it's bad enough you stole our third string quarterback. You got him when we cut him. We were bringing him back off of waivers, and then you step right in. You took him from us. Ian Book, you know what I'm talking about. You fleeced us on C.J. Gardner-Johnson,
right?
And then you fleeced us on our first round draft pick.
Hey, man, Roseman's just doing business, man.
Yeah, hey, man, that's why I call y'all the Philadelphia Saints.
hey,
y'all need a GM
for a minute too.
Yeah, they need a GM.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, hey, we might as well start off these predictions with you, E-Dubb. Let's go. Well, we already know what your pick is. All right. I want to know what the score is. So we got the Eagles at home against the 49ers. The Eagles are 2.5-point favorites. What do you think the score is going to be?
21-14.
I kind of agree with you.
21-14.
21-14. All right.
Yeah, 21-14 Philly.
Okay. I got Philly winning this game, and I got a 24-14.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be close. I think Purdy is his glass slipper is going to come off. He's going to turn back to a pumpkin. And, Jalen's going to be at the end smiling, holding the NFC Championship trophy, getting ready. Hopefully I don't jinx you guys.
It's all good.
Don.
I'm gonna go with the 49ers. I mean, as I said before, and here's why. The 49ers played Dallas real tough, and I think that everybody's looking at that game now. Don't get me wrong. 49ers almost lost that game, but I think it was a better match game because of history. I think that they don't have enough history. Now I'm looking at the Eagles and how they played against top-notch defense. I don't have them responding well. So I'm looking at a score of like 28-20.
Wow. Wow.
What a shot.
Yeah. The way I see it with this dynamic offense. I don't care how good the 49ers defense. You know, I like the 49ers. They're going to have a hard time trying to contain this offense.
Ball control, and they have positionless players. And I think that their weapons are a little bit more dynamic. Is a difference between you having weapons and then you're giving the defense different looks because those weapons can play multiple and run multiple routes.
And they have elite coaching.
And Don, I don't disagree with you, but they also got a third string quarterback named Purdy. You got to say his name like that.
So what has his record been since he's been,
Been good. He's been steady. But
steady?
now
It's been dynamic. It's been dynamic.
He's been steady.
Steady.
Yeah.
Steady, Marvin?
Yeah, steady. You think
is that what dynamic?
Steady?
What's your definition of dynamic?
How many losses has he had since he's been?
He's probably gonna win. He's probably gonna win offensive rookie of the year.
Well, that's not get carried away.
No, facts. Facts.
Whoa.
Facts.
No, he's not.
Why not? Why not?
You think he's gonna win offensive rookie of the year?
Yes.
Who else?
Who else? Chris Olave?
No.
You don't think he's gonna win offensive rookie of the year?
No.
1,000 yards as a receiver?
Not over a quarterback. Not over a quarterback.
You think this quarterback that threw for 1,300 yards this season is going to be offensive player of the year?
Look at the role that he's playing.
Marvin. In 6 games, Marvin?
You for 6 games, you think they're going to give him offensive player of the rookie of the year?
Especially if he wins the Super Bowl. Yes.
If he wins, yes.
They're going to give it to him because of his story. The story of him being Mr. Irrelevant going through. They're going to give him the award.
It's all about the thank you, E-Dub. It's the storyline, Mom.
That dude is not winning offensive rookie of the year. Y'all out of your mind.
I'm saying if he does win it, that'll be the reason why.
He's not even in conversation. Y'all crazy. He's not even considered for this.
He beat Philly. He's going to be more of the conversation. He's going to be the focal point.
He's played in 6 games. He's got 1,300 yards. Where in the hell is offensive rookie of the year numbers with this guy?
Marv, I hear you, but when they announced the finalists today, his name was on there.
Yeah, thank you.
His name was on there. Really?
His name was on there.
Whose names was on there? Who else?
All I know is his name was on there because I couldn't believe it myself. I was like, he only played half a damn season?
Yeah, he played half a season. This dude is not winning offensive player of the year. Y'all out of your minds. What? Phil, who you going with? You going with the offensive rookie of the year? I mean, y'all cut it out, man. Y'all stop it. Offensive rookie of the year? Oh God.
Man.
Man. Stop it. Who you got, man?
I'm gonna go with the 49ers here. I think it's gonna be a close game, like 20-17.
20-17?
Yeah, it's gonna be real close. It's gonna be real. I think it's gonna be a defensive game. So about 20-17. I'm going with the 49ers here.
Hey, E-Dubb, I'm looking at it. Purdy is considered for offensive rookie of the year. Are you?
Who are the other candidates, Marvin?
In 5 regular season starts.
It's all about the story.
Who else is there?
Kenneth Walker.
Okay.
And Jared Wilson, the receiver for the Jets and the running back for the Seahawks.
So your wide receiver's not there?
I would pick.
He's not considered.
Kenneth Walker. I would pick
Kenneth Walker
over Purdy.
Yeah.
Over Purdy. Yeah. Okay.
No, I wouldn't pick Walker because guess what? It's all about finishing, and he didn't finish.
Dude.
But it's a regular season award, though.
Yeah, it's a regular season award.
Yeah, but
why would you put a guy with 5 games in? This is insane.
Kenneth Walker didn't finish the season. He got hurt too.
This is insane. And this is insane that Chris Olave is not even considered. Insane.
Well, look at the quarterbacks that threw to him.
Well, I agree. That should be even more of a reason why he should be considered for Offensive Rookie of the Year. You just proved my point.
Well, same thing with Garrett Wilson. Look who threw the ball to him.
I mean, this dude played 5 regular season games, and they consider him for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
But
the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
You may say, but wait a minute. You may say 5 regular season games, but they're in the NFC Championship.
Impact.
Marvin.
Thank you.
This
Impact.
is a regular season award. This is not Offensive Rookie of the Year of the playoffs. This is Offensive Rookie of the Year regular season award. This is insane. Whoever came up with this ought to be fired now.
Okay, so who instead of Brock Purdy, who are you putting in there? Chris Olave?
Yes, no question.
He ain't make the list.
Didn't even make the list. This is insane. This is insane.
Okay.
Wow. Moving on, man. We got the Chiefs at home against the Bengals. This game is even for whatever reason. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals, knowing that Mahomes is hurt with a high ankle sprain. Yeah, they don't have a snowball chance of winning this game. I got the Bengals winning. Who you got, Don?
What do you have to score?
What do I have to score? Doesn't matter. Bengals win.
So right now, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, and here's why. I think right now Mahomes is going to be the MVP, and this game is going to show how dynamic he is. He's winning without one of the biggest weapons out there, which is Hill. We didn't think that he was going to get it done, and I think that him having that core, and like I said before, they're going to play ball control because they're not going to give the Bengals that many touches, and how many touches the Bengal has is going to decide how they win the game. They have enough weapons within the running game, and I think they have the most right now in the league. I mean, the remaining tight ends, I think Kelsey is the best tight end remaining, and those short passes are going to get them yards, and I think that's how they're going to control the ball between the running, the play action to the tight ends. I think they'll be able to get the ball control in order for them to limit Burrow's touches, which if you limit his touches, you stand a better chance of winning.
With Chad Henne?
And yeah, and right now I got the score actually looking like it's going to be I say 28-24, and the reason it's going to be high scoring is because I don't think the Chiefs defense is that good, but I think that they have enough in order to weather the storm, because the Cincinnati Bengals do not have weather on their side this game.
Phil.
I'm choosing the Bengals here. I believe they said a stat. Didn't Mahomes 0-3 against Burrow? So I've been on the Bengals train all season. I'm sticking on it. I actually think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but that's for next week. So I think this score is going to be about 28-24.
28-24. Just the other way around. Okay.
Yeah.
E-Dubb, who you playing in the Super Bowl, man?
I'm roll with the Chiefs, and here's why. The Chiefs are second only to the Eagles in sacks, right? The Bengals, again, have a depleted offensive line. With that being said, I think Andy Reid saw the mishaps of the Buffalo Bills, right? Not trying to run the ball. So X factor. All right, write this down. Isaiah Pacheco. Okay, Isaiah Pacheco. All right, with Mahomes' ankle, Isaiah Pacheco is going to be that dude. Okay, rush for 100 yards. Keep it on the ground. And then that defense is going to get after that depleted offensive line. So again, I'm going with the Chiefs. It's going to be the Andy Reid Bowl in the Super Bowl, the Kelsey Bowl in the Super Bowl, and I'm going 17-14. I think it's going to be a little bit low because they're going to keep the ball on the ground.
So E-Dubb, you're saying the Chiefs are going to depend on a rookie running back to carry them?
Have you watched him this season? Yeah.
Oh, I have. Yes, I'm very familiar. I'm very familiar with Isaiah Pacheco.
Coming out the backfield and handing it off.
Did I not say Patrick Mahomes has a high ankle sprain? Did anybody hear that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he's getting the ball out of his hand.
He's getting the team in the AFC Championship game.
Yes, because that play action is going to work with Kelsey.
You can't do it on one ankle.
Listen,
you can't do it on one ankle.
he was a full participant in practice today. Full
Okay.
participant.
Of course, a participant could be showing up.
Hey
Hey,
man.
he was out there running and jumping. That's
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
I mean, them shots to the ankle, they must be pretty
Yeah.
good, man. They got him feeling real good, numbing that ankle up. We'll
And
see
the
how-
Bengals defense is very underrated.
Yeah.
They're very underrated. The Bengals defense, they come after you.
They do. They do.
Fresh.
They do.
Okay.
But again, I think that offensive line gonna fold. I think KC gonna get after him.
All right, guys. So let's go on and wrap this thing up. E-Dubb, appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's been real. It's been fun.
Indeed.
To our listeners, thanks for joining us again. We do this thing every week. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. We'll see you next week.